Ever wonder who puts together those tiny electronics that power, well, everything these days?
Smartphones, cars, even spaceships.
It's a career path that's only becoming more important as our world gets more and more high-tech.
Right.
In this deep dive, we're taking you behind the scenes to explore the role of a surface mount technology machine operator.
SMT Machine Operator.
Yeah. And it seems from the materials you shared, you're particularly interested in not just the day-to-day tasks, but how automation might be changing this field.
Definitely.
Plus, we'll be taking a look at this RoleCatcher platform you've been curious about.
Yes, very interesting stuff.
To be honest, the idea of robots taking over jobs, even highly skilled ones, is a little unnerving. But I'm ready to deep dive into all of this and see what we uncover.
A healthy dose of curiosity is the perfect mindset for this kind of exploration. Now, based on the career guide you provided, it seems like attention to detail is the name of the game for an SMT machine operator.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're talking about placing and soldering components so small you practically need a microscope to see them.
Talk about meticulous work. The guide also mentioned something about specific certifications, like IPCA 610.
Yes.
What's the deal with those?
Yes. Those certifications are a signal to employers that you mean business when it comes to quality.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Imagine applying for a job and having a credential that instantly tells employers, I'm not just good with my hands, I meet the highest industry standards for component acceptability.
Right.
That's essentially what IPCA 610, which focuses on component acceptability, represents. And then there's IPC JSTD001, which covers soldering standards. Both are essential in this line of work.
So it's like a stamp of approval that says you're not just pushing buttons, you understand the why behind each step.
Exactly. And in an industry where precision is paramount, those certifications can make all the difference, especially as you progress to more senior roles. Speaking of which, the guide outlines a clear career ladder from entry-level to junior to senior operator.
Right, and the responsibilities seem to grow with each step.
Yes.
But what does that actually look like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, imagine yourself in a bustling manufacturing facility, surrounded by sophisticated machinery.
Okay.
As an entry-level operator, your day would involve operating those SMT machines to mount and solder those tiny electronic components onto printed circuit boards. You'd be working under supervision mounting components according to specific guidelines, and of course doing a lot of soldering.
It sounds like a good balance of hands-on work with technical know-how.
Is
But what about when you move up to a junior operator role? What changes then?
moving from entry-level to junior level signifies a greater degree of independence and problem-solving skills.
Okay.
You're not just following instructions anymore. You're expected to operate the SMT machines more independently, troubleshoot basic production issues, and even collaborate with engineers to resolve those issues.
So there's an element of problem solving involved even at that stage. It's not just about rote repetition.
Absolutely. A junior operator would be entrusted with more autonomy and expected to apply their knowledge to solve real-world production challenges. And their role in quality control expands too. They'd be conducting regular inspections of the surface-mounted devices, ensuring both quality and accuracy align with those important industry standards we were just talking about.
It sounds like a pretty significant step up in responsibility. And what about mentoring? Does that come into play at the junior level?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Junior operators might also assist in training and supervising entry-level operators, sharing their experience and knowledge.
Okay.
It's not just about technical skills at that point. Those all-important mentoring and leadership qualities start to come into play.
So they've mastered the basics, honed their problem-solving skills, and are now sharing their expertise with newcomers. What does it take to reach the coveted senior surface mount technology machine operator level?
Reaching the senior level is a testament to years of experience, a deep understanding of all the processes involved, and most importantly, the ability to manage not just tasks, but also people.
They've become the gurus of the SMT world. What sets a senior operator apart in their day-to-day work?
In many ways, they are the gurus. A senior operator would oversee the operation of multiple SMT machines simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
They're not just managing the day-to-day operations, they're actively looking for ways to improve those operations.
So a senior operator has a hand in shaping the efficiency and productivity of the entire operation.
Absolutely. They're developing and implementing process improvements, constantly seeking ways to optimize both efficiency and, of course, the quality of the output.
Okay.
And yes, mentorship becomes a core aspect of their role. They're training and guiding junior operators, providing support and fostering their development.
It sounds like a very dynamic and rewarding role, especially for those who enjoy leading and innovating.
It is.
But let's get back to this whole automation thing. You mentioned that senior operators might work even more closely with engineers, right?
That's right. As automation becomes more prevalent, those lines will blur even further.
Okay.
For example, let's say a senior operator identifies a recurring issue with a specific component placement.
Okay.
They'd bring that to the engineers, sharing their real-world observations from the production line.
Right.
Together, they might tweak the SMT machine programming, explore new soldering materials, or even suggest adjustments to the component design itself.
It becomes this amazing collaboration blending the engineer's design expertise with the senior operator's practical knowledge.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that kind of teamwork is going to become even more vital as automation changes the landscape of the job.
It's fascinating how this career path requires both incredible precision and the ability to adapt and learn new technologies.
It is.
But before we get ahead of ourselves and dive into the future of automation, I'm curious about some of the other details mentioned in this career guide.
Okay.
It talks about the job being physically demanding, but also requiring sitting or standing for long periods.
Right.
How does that even work?
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But remember, this role involves both operating machinery, which might require standing, and potentially also intricate work with tiny components, which might be done sitting.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the variety of tasks that creates that mix of physical demands. The guide also mentioned potential exposure to hazardous materials,
Yes.
which isn't something to take lightly.
Right.
What are some examples of what someone in this role should be aware of?
You're right. To be cautious, safety is paramount in this field.
Yeah.
While modern manufacturing facilities prioritize worker well-being, there are inherent risks.
Right.
We're talking about soldering fumes, solvents used in cleaning, and even certain metals found in the components themselves.
So proper ventilation and safety gear are non-negotiable.
Oh, absolutely.
But knowing those risks up front is half the battle.
Exactly.
It seems like having a resource to navigate this whole career path would be invaluable.
Yes.
Speaking of which you mentioned, we'd be talking about RoleCatcher.
Yes.
Now, this platform seems to be all about giving job seekers an edge in today's competitive market.
It seems to.
What's the deal with their claim about beating automated recruiting systems? It sounds a little like we're going up against an army of robots.
It's true that AI is playing a larger role in screening applicants.
Right.
But think of RoleCatcher as your secret weapon, helping you speak the algorithm's language.
Okay.
One way they do this is through their CV resume scoring feature.
Okay, so it analyzes your CV and tells you if it's good enough for the robots. I'm intrigued, but also slightly terrified.
It's understandable to feel a bit apprehensive about AI evaluating your work.
Right.
But remember, RoleCatcher's on your side.
Okay.
Their scoring system analyzes your CV against specific job requirements, identifying any skills gaps,
Okay.
suggesting relevant keywords and highlighting areas for improvement.
So instead of just sending out a generic CV and hoping for the best, you're tailoring it for maximum impact. It's like having a digital career coach in your back pocket.
Precisely.
Oh.
And it's all about increasing your chances of getting noticed.
Okay.
Think about it. Recruiters are often flooded with applications.
Right.
A CV that's been fine-tuned for both content and those all-important keywords is far more likely to rise to the top of the pile, especially with those applicant tracking systems, or ATS, that many companies use these days.
Right, the infamous ATS.
Exactly.
It's good to know RoleCatcher factors that into the equation.
Yes.
But what if someone's starting from scratch with their CV?
That's where their CV resume builder comes in.
Okay.
Guides you step by step, helping you create a professional and visually appealing CV that aligns with industry best practices.
Okay.
Plus, their templates are designed to be ATS-friendly, making sure your CV can be easily read and parsed by those digital gatekeepers.
ATS friendly, I'm adding that to my vocabulary list. But let's say you've got a top-notch CV thanks to RoleCatcher.
Okay.
What happens when you land an interview?
Right.
Those can be nerve-wracking.
They certainly can be. And RoleCatcher has you covered there, too, with their interview practice module.
Okay.
They offer a vast library of practice interview questions, over 120,000 of them,
Wow.
categorized by career and skill set.
Wow, 120,000 questions. That's a lot of potential interview scenarios to prepare for.
It's quite comprehensive. And here's where their AI capabilities really shine.
Okay.
It analyzes your responses, offering personalized feedback and suggestions for improvement.
So it's like having a mock interview with an AI coach, but without the pressure of a real interview.
Exactly.
And this is all part of their free service, right?
That's the most impressive part. RoleCatcher offers a wealth of resources, completely free of charge-making career development, accessible to everyone.
That's fantastic. Everyone deserves access to tools that can help them reach their full potential.
I agree.
But hold on, we've got CV scoring, a builder interview practice. It's like a job seeker's Swiss Army knife. Anything else RoleCatcher can do.
They also offer a feature called the Career Compass, designed to help you explore different career paths, identify your strengths and interests, and make informed decisions about your professional journey.
Okay, I have to ask, what exactly does exploring a career path with an AI compass look like?
Think of it less as a literal compass and more like a personalized guide.
Okay.
Let's say you're intrigued by electronics manufacturing, but you're not sure if being an SMT machine operator is the right fit. The Career Compass can help you explore related fields, like quality assurance or process engineering.
So it helps you understand the broader landscape of possibilities within a specific industry.
Yes.
That's incredibly valuable, especially in a field as dynamic as technology, where new roles are always emerging.
Exactly. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of options, but RoleCatcher's Career Compass acts as your guide, helping you navigate those complexities and align your skills and passions with a fulfilling career.
You mentioned earlier that RoleCatcher helps you speak the algorithm's language.
Yes.
I'm curious about their skills gap feature, which I see here in one of their screenshots.
Okay.
What does that entail?
That's another excellent example of how RoleCatcher fine-tunes your application.
Okay.
The skills gap feature compares your CV or resume to the specific job description you're interested in.
Right.
It then highlights any schools mentioned in the job posting that you haven't included on your CV.
So it's like a checklist, making sure you're not underselling your experience or overlooking relevant skills. That's incredibly helpful.
Exactly. It's especially useful for career changers or those applying for roles that might be a bit different from their previous experience.
Right.
By highlighting transferable skills, it helps bridge that gap and ensures you're presenting yourself as the ideal candidate.
And I imagine it helps with those applicant tracking systems we discussed, making sure your CV includes all the right keywords to get past those digital gatekeepers.
Precisely. It's all about maximizing your visibility and increasing your chances of making it through that initial screening process.
It sounds like they're really invested in helping people succeed. But before we get too caught up in the digital world, let's bring this conversation back to the physical reality of being an SMT machine operator.
Absolutely. Let's ground ourselves back in the world of electronics manufacturing.
We've talked about the technical skills, the physical demands, even the potential hazards.
Right.
But what about the work environment itself? What's it actually like to spend your day in a facility with these high-tech machines?
Well, the days of dark, greasy factories are long gone when it comes to modern electronics manufacturing.
So we're not talking about a scene from a sci-fi movie with sparks flying everywhere.
Not quite. Picture a clean, well-lit, and typically climate-controlled facility.
Okay.
Safety is paramount in this industry, so expect to see a strong emphasis on safety protocols, with workers wearing appropriate protective gear.
That's good to hear. But what about the work itself? Can it get repetitive even with those high-tech machines?
It's true that some tasks can be repetitive, especially at the entry level.
Right.
However, as you gain experience in advance, the work becomes more diverse and engaging.
Okay.
Plus, there's a certain satisfaction that comes from seeing those tiny components come together to create something that powers our lives.
There's a magic to that for sure.
Yeah.
But let's address the elephant in the room, or maybe we should say the robot in the room.
Right.
We've talked a lot about automation and how it might impact this career path.
Yes.
What's the long-term outlook? Is it all doom and gloom for human SMT machine operators?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that many industries are grappling with. While it's true that automation will likely change the landscape of this field, it's not necessarily a case of robots replacing humans entirely.
So it's more of a collaboration or evolution than a hostile takeover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
As machines become capable of handling more repetitive tasks, the role of the human operator will shift towards supervision troubleshooting. And those tasks that require uniquely human skills, like critical thinking and adaptability.
So those who embrace continuous learning and upskilling will be the ones who thrive.
You've hit the nail on the head. And that's where platforms like RoleCatcher, with its emphasis on identifying skills gaps and connecting users with relevant training, can play a vital role in helping SMT operators stay ahead of the curve.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change, especially in a field as dynamic as technology.
Right.
But change also brings opportunity.
Absolutely. And the demand for skilled SMT machine operators is expected to remain strong even as automation increases.
Okay.
The key is to be adaptable, embrace new technologies, and never stop learning.
It's not just about landing the job, it's about building a resilient and future-proof career.
Precisely. And for those who are up for the challenge, the future of electronics manufacturing is bright.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive. We've explored the ins and outs of being a surface mount technology machine operator, from those meticulous soldering tasks to the looming presence of automation.
We've also uncovered how platforms like RoleCatcher can empower job seekers to navigate this exciting and ever-changing field, providing the tools and insights needed to thrive in the world of electronics manufacturing.
So if you're fascinated by the intricate world of technology, don't let the fear of automation hold you back. Embrace the challenge, keep learning, and remember those tiny components you might be working with. They're powering the future.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one programming those robots to do the soldering.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, keep diving deep.